Hi, good morning, everyone. And my name is Tai Chuta. Some people call me Tai Excel. And because of my look, my short hair, some people call me Excel Sifu. I'm very happy to welcome all of you here in this session. And today we're going to learn how we are able to complete an interactive dashboard in Excel within 30 minutes or lesser. If you say you are able to do something like this, if you amaze something with this, or you're excited with this, please type excited in the message so that I'm able to see your response. You type excited. Yes, I can see more and more chat coming in. Very good, very good. Thank you for your encouragement. And let's jump into this simple dashboard so that you're able to create an interactive dashboard within 30 minutes or less. So let's see the data. The data we have is from a staff. I have a staff ID, their department, the gender, the first name, last name, and the date of birth, and when they join and their salary. And based on this structure, I want to come up with a very simple kind of dashboard. This is a rough dashboard design. I want to have a total head count. How many people are there in the company, in the total? And we have the female and male. What is the percentage and number of people in the company, and the year of service, plus the department based on the gender of female or male. What is the percentage like? This whole thing we are able to go through a little bit faster compared to the usual method. And worry not, you're able to go through the recorded video at the end. I will post it online in the Facebook, in the LinkedIn, and as well in the YouTube. Okay, let's come back to here. The very first step before you are able to get this thing done, you want to create an Excel table for the data structure here. That means no blanks in between, in terms of row, in terms of columns. What you can see, I'm highlighted, these are the blanks. Remove all the blanks. Non-negotiable to have it there. So I just undo. Once the whole thing is one continuous block, I go to insert. Insert, there's something called table. Table, the shortcut key is Control T. It's the first alphabet of table. So I click, it will highlight the whole thing, and I press OK. Immediately after this is created, go to the table name and change it to some other meaningful name. My personal recommendation, we start the table name with the wording table. Table, this is about stuff. So I can use uppercase and lowercase to make it a little bit easier to distinguish. And I press enter. And you're able to see all of them is just a normal thing. Personally, I will use color with purpose. And what you can see here, it has a blue color by default. And I want to change it to black color. This is just my personal preference. I use black color for the raw data. That means whenever I see the black color, I do not change them at all. Usually it's export from system or I copy from someone else, so that any changes I'm doing here, whenever I get the new set of data, it will get overwritten. So I do not want to have all those things. I use color with purpose. I use black color, just like analogy of those days, the very old TV is only black and white. So I use black. It's history. There's nothing we can change. I'm also changing the tab color by right click, change the tab color to black color. So then whenever I go to the different worksheet, I look at the color, I will know this is raw data. So it helps me to find my data easier. So after I'm done, the first step I want to create is a dashboard design. I want to get the total head count. Total head count. I go back to data and I go to insert. Here I have on the leftmost button, you will see a button called pivot table. We are going to use the pivot table throughout to create an interactive dashboard. The meaning of interactive dashboard, it means I click on certain selection, the whole chart will get updated as well. So I click and it will ask me, and I want to bring to a new worksheet to make it easier for me to manage. And I press OK. And I want to get the total number. Total head count, I can use either staff ID or the department or the name. Either ones, as long as they are text, to keep it simple. I do not want to use salary. If I use salary, if I drag to the values or I click, it will show the total salary. This is not what I want, so I remove it by dragging it out from the value, so it will disappear. So I go and click on the staff ID. So it's still perceived as a number because the data here, it looks like a number. So be careful on the type of data you are dealing with. To be on the safer side, I go back to a pivot table. I remove the staff ID. I use the department. So every staff will, for sure, they will belongs to one department. So I drag it and do the values. You will see it turns to count of department. So this step is almost done. And I want to, later I will come back here. Before I continue further, I want to change the worksheet name to make it easier for me to recognize what they are. So I can double click on the worksheet. Personally, this is my personal preference. I will just use PV to annotate this is pivot table, PV. Some people, they like PT or whatever and abbreviation you prefer is perfectly okay, up to you. So I want to PV the head count. Enter. First step done. And I want to do something different is on the next part. Let's look at the design, the female and male. So I want to base on the head count to further break down by their gender. So I go back to head count, it's almost there. I want to break them down into their individual gender. The easiest way for us to do is to copy and paste existing pivot table and we change it from there. It's super fast. How we are able to copy and paste the worksheet is by dragging. If you notice on the lower screen, it has a mouse with the white page kind of icon. When I normal drag, it's just a normal white page as I'm moving. And I hold the control key. When I hold the control key, you will see there's a plus sign on the pivot table, on the icon, on the paper. Now I let go of my mouse before my control key. So you will see it will create a brand new worksheet based on the thing we have copied. So now I can just double click to change the name. This is about the female and male, female and male. So I just type FM, enter. This one, it doesn't break down by the female or male. So I want to go to the pivot table fields. It has all the data available based on the table stuff we have created. Gender is here. I can drag towards rows. Let's see what happens. It will show vertically. If I drag the gender towards columns, if I drag towards column, it will show horizontally. Personally, I will prefer vertically. It's easier for me to read. So I bring the gender, drag it to rows. So almost there. And I want to present in the form of pie chart. Pie chart is very good to see the totality, which one has more, which one has lesser in terms of their entire population. So therefore, whenever I'm selected inside the pivot table, make sure it's selected. If I click outside, the behavior will be different. If I click inside, I go to insert. Here, I have a lot of charts. I just go jump straight towards pie chart. When I click, I just use a very simple pie chart. My personal recommendation, do not use 3D charts, something like this. Non-negotiable in the business world, really non-negotiable. Because let me dissect a little bit. Pie chart, whenever it's 3D, those closest to us, it will look a bit bigger. Those bit further from us is a bit small. So it will give us a wrong perception when it has more data. Now it looks like this is the very small portion of it compared to the rest. It just blow out the proportion. It's not what we want. Let me undo. And I go back to here and click. I want to show the pie chart here. I click, okay, it's able to show the pie chart. And I want to change the report name, do it a little bit nicer so that it's easier for me to copy and paste over. So first thing, I see all the dots, all this button. I want to remove them. The easiest way to remove them is right click. You can see something called hide all field buttons on chart. So when we click hide all fields buttons on chart, I click, it just disappears. And furthermore, yes, legend here, it says F and M, female and male. Later, I want to use this information inside the chart. I do not need them. I want to keep it simple. So when this is selected, you can just press your delete key or keyboard, it'll be gone. And now I want to change the title. I click and I click again, or you can use F2 to change it. I want to see gender. And now I want to show the numbers on the pie chart. The easiest way to create or to customize a chart is just right click on the place you want to change it. It's just that simple. Right click, you will see one of the options. Now I want to something called add data label. You will see all the numbers appears here on these two segments. I want to do further fine tuning on here. I can just right click on the numbers. It's something called format data labels. To do formatting on the chart is very simple. Always right click. Usually it's on the last one. You want to do some formatting. So you want to do some exploration, is always go back there. When I click on the right side, I will see it will appears a format data labels. I want to show the category name. Let me zoom in on the chart. I want to show the category female or male, and I want to show the percentage as well. And because all of them is just combined into single line, when it's overlapped with the chart, it's not easy to read. I can further fine tune on the label position. Currently, it says best fit. I want to make it outside end. So everything just go outside. It's much more presentable. And sometimes I want to just make them female. And the next one is the numbers. And the third line will be the percentage. So the separator, I want to change it here. Instead of using comma, which is a default, I want to make it as a new line. If I change it to new line, it will turn it in the vertical form. Sometimes this is easier for us to read. So once I'm done, I can close this and I can click outside. It just have it done. Okay. So now I just keep it simple. Do not go so much on the details, on the coloring and all these things. Now we just want to complete the interactive dashboard. Once this is done, let's go back to the design. I have the head count at the female and male. The closest one is I want to get the by department, the female and male, how many of them. So therefore, I go back to the pivot table, female and male. I want to make a copy from here. To make a copy, I can just drag and I hold the control key and let go of my mouse, and you will see it will create a brand new identical worksheet. So I can just female, male, it goes by department. So I change the worksheet name, and this chart is no longer relevant. So because I want to use a different method, I can remove them and I click on the pivot table. So it will show the pivot table fields. When this pivot table field somehow I close, I want to bring them back. It's just very easy using mouse. I can just right click and it goes to the last option. It says show field list. When I see something, it will say the show field list. And I want to show the department by the head count. So I want to drag the gender towards the column. And I want to drag the department from the pivot field list on the top and go to the rows. So I'm able to see all of them in this manner. They are HR, how many person, and with this kind of chart, I want to show it visually. So I can go to insert, and perhaps I'm no idea what is a better chart to present this. So I will click recommended chart. So it will give me some ideas. Okay, how about this? And how about this? This one can give me the visualization. Production has more people compared to the rest. At the same time, it has more male staff compared to the rest. Or I can use something like this. Depending on which one you prefer. I just want to keep it simple. I do not want to see so many columns. So I use stack column. So once I'm done, I can press OK. You can see them appears. Let's do a bit fine tuning on the appearance. And I do not want the button. So I can right click. This is called fill buttons. So I want to hide all fill buttons on chart. I select that everything disappears. And I want to add a title to make it easier to read. So while the chart is selected, I can go and click on the plus sign. I'm able to select there's something called chart title. I have picked. If let's say you do not see this, it's perfectly okay. You can go to, there's something called design. When the chart is selected, you can go to pivot table chart and go to design, usually on the left side, you will see something called add or change chart element. They are the same thing here. So I can change the chart title. Okay, you want to make it as overlay, that means on top of existing or none. So I'm able to do something like this, same behavior with the plus sign. So I want to make it simple. This is a gender by department. So I have all the departments with the gender. This is almost done. I'm so happy. Let me close the pivot table fields and I go back to design. I've done the total head count. I've done the female and male. I've done department female and male. And one small thing is a bit tricky is a year of service. Let's see how we are able to get the data here. Inside the data, we only have the date join. We do not have the option say how many years this person has been servicing the organization. So I want to add a new column. To add a new column inside the raw data, the normal reaction people would do is to add just next to it. They will add something like this. My personal recommendation, do not do this. If let's say this is my project, I will say non-negotiable. Let me undo. I want to make sure the raw data is one continuous block. That means in future, I want to copy and paste. I will just copy and paste one continuous block without overwriting any of my formulas. So if therefore, I want to add at the very end or at the very beginning of the raw data. So I want to add something called year of service and I press enter. There are a lot of formulas out there. I just want to keep it simple. I just want to have the current year minus the year of date join. I just keep it super simple. So I can go to I2, I just equal year and tab. To get current year, I want to use a function called today and tab. It means it will return to the date, which is 21st of April, 2020. Close parenthesis and close parenthesis to complete the year and minus the year and tab of the date join. Because this is an Excel table, you will see it will turn to a structured referencing, something like this. Do not worry, just relax. If something not show well, you can just remove it. And when you click on the same row, it will turn to this automatically without having you to type anything at all. So if I say I click on the different row, it will turn to the cell reference. If I click on the same row, it will use structured referencing. So therefore, towards the end, I close parenthesis and press enter. It's almost there, but not there. So it just perceives it is a date. So we want to change this whole thing into a general. So while I'm in the I2, I want to select towards the end. I use Control Shift down arrow. Control Shift down arrow allows us to select until the end. Then I go to home. There's a number format. I can change it to general. And now I'm using more mouse movement so that it's easier for you to follow along. So I have all the years. Let's see. You have 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, or 7 years. Okay. Now I want to bring this information back to the pivot table. I want to see how many years of service based on different person. So inside here, I want to drag. I will use something simple here from the head count. I drag and go towards the end while holding the control key and let go of my mouse. And I want to change the name. This will be the pivot table head count by the service. Okay. It will only have the count of the department. So I want to do something by right click and show field list. Inside here, do you see any of the year of service? Currently is none, because whenever any updates on the pivot table, we need to refresh it. The easiest way to refresh is using the mouse. I can just right click on any of the pivot table, right click, you will see there's option say refresh. If I click refresh, you are able to see year of service. Now I'm able to drag the year of service towards the row and it's able to say, oh, only 3% has 4 years. Others will be 5, 6, and 7, and so on. So with this information, I want to show it in the chart manner. So I can go to insert, I can use use recommended chart, see what's the recommendation. And okay, let's do a different way. I want to use bar chart. I just put something different. So once I'm done, I can press OK. It will do something like this appears on the screen. And the buttons, we do not need it on the dashboard, so I can right click and choose hide all few buttons. And the total here, I just want to change it. This is called head count by year of service. Yes, okay. So, and the total is no longer necessary because it's only showing single number. So I can just remove it. And now I'm almost done. And I want to create a brand new worksheet to copy all these charts into a single place. So I want to add a new worksheet. So I drag it towards the beginning, and I want to change the name. As and when I move along, I can just double click. This is a dashboard. Okay, let's see how we want to move the head count by service, year of service. I can copy, select the chart, copy, and go to dashboard and select one of the areas and paste it here. So, and the next one, I want to, the female and male, select the chart, copy, and go to the dashboard, click on the top left, paste it here. Later, we will do some adjustment. And we will go to the head count, the gender by department. I can just select and copy. And I go to dashboard and I paste it here. And that's the tricky part is about the head count, the total head count. Okay, I just use a simple method. I just merge the cells. And for your information, this is one of the easiest way to get this thing done. I merge the cell, I just equal and go to the head count and click on the number and press enter. Yes, you have the head count. Okay, there's different ways to make it work. And I just want to make it something simple. Okay, I want to make it a bit larger. And now I'm going to do some alignment. Yeah, this one I should have done more, a little bit bigger. Maybe I want to merge again. Okay. And the head count for the gender. Okay, how about something like this? Okay, so this will be required a bit larger. So there is proportion. I want to increase the size as well. Okay, and I will scroll down. I have the head count by the year of service. While I'm dragging, I want to make it they are perfectly aligned. I will hold the alternate key while I'm resizing. You can see somehow they are snapping to the grid line. So it makes the alignment super easy. So I can drag. Okay, almost there. Okay, I want to make this a bit larger so that they are aligned in a single page. Now we are almost done. And now I'm going to add a new interactive element. So I want to let whoever view the report able to select either by the gender, by the department, or the year of service. So I select one of the charts. I go to analyze. You will see there's something called insert slicer. Insert slicer is the interactive part of it. When I click, I will see all the fields available in this data. I want to go by department, gender, as well as year of service. When I select these three, I press OK. Excel will pop up 3 slices for us to do. Let me shift them towards the side. And I click HR, you will see these are the HR population, IT, more male, management, more male as well, production, majority are male, sales, well, majority are female. So we are able to get this thing done. This is halfway through. And I want to have the slicer to control all the charts. When one of the slicer is selected, you could see slicer tools options and go towards the left side, you have something called report connection. In the different version, you will see something called filter connection, filter setting. It's a similar wording. Is connection or settings or something like that. You can click and you are able to see what are the pivot tables available. And because I have changed the worksheet name, it's easier for me to identify who they are. I have the total head count, I have everything. So it has pivot table name as well as the worksheet name. So I just select all of them. I just select all. With the department, I click HR. All of them. HR only have 20%. 18 is a male. yeah, female, and 2 is male. Okay, I go at IT. Year of service also changes, as well as the gender by department, they will change as well. I have done one thing, and I want to do a similar for the gender. I select gender, go back to report connection. I want to make a link to all the pivot tables and press OK. Let's click. All the chart will get updated. Awesome. So this is done. I want to do it for the same on the year of service, and I click on report connection, and I select all the charts, all the pivot table. Once I'm done, I want to do a little bit fine tuning. I want to reduce number of columns so that it's easier to see on the screen. And why resize on the slicer as well. You could hold the alternate key to make them align perfectly. And I want to make it a gender here. I want to reduce it, increase number of columns to make it easier to see. And I want to align them. And same goes with the department. I want to make it as 2 columns so that it's easier to, it's much more compact. With this whole thing, when I make it a little bit larger, if I click on the year 4, okay, only 3 persons in the year 4, they are from HR. Year 5, okay, they are from HR, IT, and management. If let's say I want to see year 4 and year 5, I just click 4 and drag towards 5. So these 2 years, I have 14 persons, so the head count and the by department. If let's say I want to see the number 4 and number 7, I just click number 4 and hold the control key and click number 7. And you will see it's 4 and 7 and the gender, population, and we have 138 staff. If I want to see only those in HR, if I click on HR, you will further zoom in, only 7 persons. If let's say once it's okay, I want to remove all the filter, I just click clear filter. I just can click clear filter. This is almost done. There are small fine tuning. We want to make it a little bit nicer. The grid lines are behind it is not presentable. I want to remove the grid lines. To hide the grid lines, we go to view, ribbon, there's something called grid lines, turn it off. So it makes the whole thing much more presentable. If you want to present on the projector, you could just go and view. There's something called headings. Click on the headings. The headings disappears. And of course, my one is a quick access toolbar. It's a bit too long. If let's say you want to make it a bit shorter, you're able to make it shorter as well. In the newer version of Excel, you're able to see something like this. Ribbon display options. You can click, you will see auto hide ribbon. So it will look like a real thing. I can click number 4, okay, number 5, then I clear them. I want to see only the management staff, all management staff. There are many in 5, 6, 7 years. How about the production? Oh, there are a lot of production people in the room, and it's 101 people. So we can clear the filter. So this is how we're able to get use. Within 30 minutes, you're able to create a dashboard inside Excel. Let me show the ribbon. And in the 1 to 5 day, if any updates on the data, I just go and give, okay, this number is about, I want to put, is a new department, it's called training. It's male, the name is Mila. I just joined, birthday, okay, secret for me. I put it year 2000, I'm still young. Just kidding. Okay, I just joined beginning of the last year, 2019, maybe 1 year, and my salary is only 1 ringgit, $1. Okay, once I've added something like this, I go back to dashboard, it doesn't reflect. Now I want to refresh my pivot table. The second method of refreshing a pivot table is go to data and refresh all. And you are able to see there's a new training department. If I click on the training, I will see it's only 1 person. With this whole thing, your report is much more easier to create, and any changes on the data, you just need to go and refresh. With that, I'll conclude my presentation. Now I open for Q&A. Just sharp 30 minutes. Yes. Okay. And now I'm able to open the Q&A. If let's say you have some question, you can use a chat box to type it. Yes. We have a question. Can we do it in the PowerPoint? What do you mean by PowerPoint? Okay, Ramzan mentioned, okay, Excel is only half screen. If possible to make it full screen. You want to make it full screen, you just need to arrange the alignment, the holding, and inside Excel, there's macro, you are able to turn it on the full screen. And furthermore, Excel, there's a one way to turn off the tab here. So it's easier for us to see. So we can occupy much more space. Let me scroll to, okay, see more question. Ramzan, hopefully this address your question. And okay, Cheng Huat Ko, I'm not quite sure what you mean. Can we do it in the PowerPoint? Are you referring by creating a dashboard in PowerPoint, or you are referring to something else? I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Oh, okay, you mean the dashboard. Dashboard inside the PowerPoint is not so flexible, especially on the interactivity. So hopefully this address your question. Yeah, as the interactivity, it means I want to click on the different department, the whole chart changes. It has a different way to work around. It's still possible, it's just a bit longer steps. So this whole thing is able to make it super easy. And yep, very good. Thank you for your time. And have a small request from all of you. If let's say you are okay to, okay, I would like to request you to go and like my Facebook page. The reason being is I want to post these things regularly in my Facebook page, and you are able to see, okay, I'm showing the screen on here. Okay, let me show the screen. Yep. Okay. This is my contact details. You can WhatsApp to this number. It looks like a landline. You can WhatsApp. And if you call me sometime, because this is a routing number, you route to my mobile phone. I will not able to know who is calling. If let's say you WhatsApp me, I'm able to address it. And you please like the Facebook page. It's easier for us to communicate there. If you have a specific topic you want me to cover in just like 30-minute session tomorrow or the day after, let me know. You can private message me. Hopefully this gives you a good idea what Excel could do for you in terms of creating an interactive dashboard just within 30 minutes or lesser. And hopefully this gives you a good idea. And thank you everyone, and have a great day ahead. And bye.